I think Diablo might be dead. Hello and welcome back to the Sweat Lodge. Today I want to talk about my experiences with Diablo IV in particular, because I've been a big fan of Diablo ever since I was a kid. One of my first gaming experiences that I remember is playing Diablo I. I had a demo of it and it was finding the butcher, opening the door, being terrified. And then, as I was a little bit older, I got myself a copy of Diablo II, and I had many fond memories of playing that many times through with many different friends as we got older up until I finished school. I still remember when one of my friend's brothers came round, played Diablo, and I still remember him asking, "Does anyone want this rusty sword?" And we turned around and looked at each other like, why do we want this rusty sword? It was just funny he was asking this. But I've got this history with Diablo. I've played a lot of Diablo III as well. The only Diablo game I haven't played is Diablo Immortal. But I did play Diablo IV when it came out. But I quickly bounced off of it. I played through the story and I went into what I call sesh mode, when I sit there and I grind through it until I get to the end. Sometimes I just do that. Do that with games I care about. Diablo IV, I wanted to get through it, and I had this completionist mindset which kind of detracted from the experience. There was lots of things to do, and I remember the first area is a snowy area called Kjovashad. I think that's how you say it. But I wanted to do everything in that area before I moved on. But that actually tarnished the experience for me. I actually find that I'm the type of person, I can't have those things there because they ruin the experience for me. But the thing that got in the way for me is once I finished that campaign, once I was finished with the story, all that was left were these nightmare dungeons. At least I think that's what they were called at the time. And it was just endlessly killing mobs. And all it did was remind me of Diablo III, which was doing rifts. And I'd already spent a lot of time doing rifts on Diablo III, except I had all these geared up characters and these paragon levels, so I could make a new character, go in and get that satisfying feeling of killing lots of monsters. Well, Season 1 rolls around and I decide I'm done with this game. I don't want to play it anymore. And I have not returned to the game since. And since then we've seen the likes of Path of Exile come around. Remember Lost Ark? That was an MMO in the same vein of Diablo. And these games have rolled around, been wildly more popular. I don't really hear about anyone playing Diablo IV anymore, but I still hear about people playing Path of Exile, and people are still playing Path of Exile 1. A few of my friends actually play Path of Exile 1, they still want to progress on that one, whilst playing Path of Exile 2. So it seems to me that Diablo 4 might be dead. And do I miss it? No. If I want to play Diablo, I'll probably go back and play Diablo II, the remastered version. I think that is actually one of a fantastic remake of that game. I love the fact that you can just press, I think it's G, graphics, old style graphics. And then when I press G and go back to those new graphics, I am like, wow, this game looks so good compared to the old graphics. It's nice to have it there. That was a feature in the Halo remastered as well. But it seems to me that Blizzard have kind of dropped the ball with Diablo, and they did release an expansion for Diablo 4. I don't want it. I'm not going to buy it. It just seems like a waste of money to me. I still remember being annoyed that on Diablo 3 the Necromancer was there, but you have to buy him for, I think it was like £6 or something. He's still there on that menu. I've played every class on Diablo 3 except the Necromancer because I refused to pay for that. I bought the game. Blizzard have had a lot of money from me over the years. Considering I've been a long time WoW player as well, they've had a lot of money from me in subscriptions. But where did Diablo 4 go wrong? For me personally, now this won't be like what for many of you, you might disagree with this, but I hate seasons. What put me off Diablo 4 was Season 1. It's essentially got all this new content, all this new gear, but to get it, you've got to make a brand new character. And I know people disagree with me because most of my friends play Path of Exile because it's seasonal. They're like, yes, new season's out, I'm going to make a new Path of Exile character, sesh through the campaign, get to the end, and to me, that sounds terrible. I've done the campaign. I don't want to retread the old ground. The campaign wasn't even that interesting to begin with. The only reason I went through that on Diablo is because in Diablo II, there are some awesome cutscenes, and I kind of go through the story to see those cutscenes. I wanted to see the wanderer going through the desert, making his way to hell. Diablo IV, yeah, it was kind of interesting. It just didn't hold my attention, to be honest, and I don't really care about playing it again. There was whole Mephisto, he's like this wolf, and I can't really remember what happened. It's been quite a long time. And when that season 1 dropped, I thought, I'm not doing all that again. And even though there's a button you can press, I don't want to play through the story. It puts you in the mode where it's like free roam, essentially. And all I had to do was these stupid repeatable missions or go into those dungeons, which I'd already been doing anyway. There's something about me, I like closure in my games, and the reason why I like Diablo 2, I know that some of you say, Diablo 2 is seasonal, Jake. It's got seasons just like the other Diablo. But what I like about it is that I know you can do this in Diablo 4, but it kind of was the last straw that broke the camel's back. I can play a character and finish it and be done with it. I like that in my games. That's why World of Warcraft Classic is appealing to me. Not at the minute, I don't really play it now, but why it was appealing to me at the start, I can finish it. It actually has an end point. I like it when games have end points. I don't want it to be there forever. I like to finish a game and it be the end of a chapter. I don't want to return back and feel like I can never get to the end. It's like a movie that never ends and you just want to see what happens. So many times I've watched Netflix shows where I don't even really care about the story anymore, but I want to get to the end. This is just showing how weird my mind works, but I want to see the end. And by the time I get to the end, I regret having watched that show. I think if I had just watched the first 2 episodes, I would have been happy. But instead, I sat through 4 seasons of crap. And now I feel like I hate myself. Video games can be a little bit like that too, where the start of the game might be great, and then completionist mode kicks in. You want to get the most of your money's worth out of it, push yourself through that game. And we get to the end of it and you think, why did I do that? Was there any point in playing this? I'm not happy about this. But anyway, when Diablo IV dropped its first season, that was it for me. I said, I'm sick of this game. I'm not playing it anymore. And I haven't logged in. Well, I have logged in, but I haven't played it. I've just logged in to see where I'm at, look at my character, and I've promptly quit back out of it. I don't really see myself ever coming back to it. And I think it's a real shame because it was such a great game. And in fact, in recent months, I've actually gone back and I got myself a copy of Diablo I because I'd only ever played that demo. And that's like floor 2. Diablo 1 is in floors. And as you go down, you're getting closer to hell. And, the demo is only down to floor 2. That's where the butcher was. And that game is hard. And you know what? Once you get past the fact that it's a bit old, it runs in a tiny window, so it looks a bit pixelated, blown up, but it's okay. It still looks okay. And it's very hard, but it's very satisfying to get through. And I actually have to use save points, otherwise, you lose all your progress. I have to constantly be saving. And it felt like I was actually invested in the game. There's hardly any cutscenes in that. The game was just fun. But the thing is, I haven't finished it, by the way, but once it's done, it is done. There isn't season 1, there isn't season 2. And I know that it can help a game's longevity, but, to me, some games don't need longevity. In a way, that game has had an immense amount of longevity. I've purchased it, and it came out years ago. So in a way, the game just being complete and, a singular package that I can purchase that, I get the whole game. I don't have to buy the Necromancer. I don't have to play season bloody 1 to get the special crown or whatever because it doesn't drop if you're not a seasonal character. I get everything in the game. I like that. I want that. Those are my thoughts on Diablo, you know. Just from the top of my head, Diablo, it does kind of annoy me when I think about Diablo IV. I wanted to like it. And I had friends that wanted to like it. Friends that, they don't even really play those sort of games, but they came back for Diablo IV because Diablo's got that power. Like, they remember Diablo II, Diablo III, they were great. I want that again. But you don't really get it again. You don't really get it again. And that's a shame. And that's why I wanted to ask, is Diablo dead? Will there be a Diablo 5? Or will it end up like Starcraft? Oh, so sad. I love Starcraft. Starcraft, one of my favourite games, Starcraft 2, it's dead. I think Diablo's going to be the same way. Will there be a Diablo 5? Unlikely. Maybe. But unlikely. Will there be a Starcraft 3? Unlikely. Very unlikely. But maybe. Anyway, thanks for joining me in the Sweat Lodge today. I hope you liked my ramblings. Click here for another video, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for listening.